Who's ready to talk about the ALCS Game 6? Happy Sunday night, folks. Is Sunday Night Football over yet? What's the deal there?
Who cares? We're focused on baseball right
Who
now.
cares? We
Doesn't
have
matter.
a Game 7 in Toronto between the Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners. Let's talk about Game 6. Jack Mullen, Peter Apple, thanks for joining us live as we prep you for Game 7 and recap a doozy of a Game 6 as this thing shifted back to Toronto. Peter, who we brought to you by?
BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Remember, folks, download BetMGM, whether that be on iOS or Android, and use promo code JUSTBASEBALL. Why? First bet offer up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first wager loses. Just remember, gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply. The best two words in sports. Game 7. Yes, we deserve it. Jays fans, they got there. Mariners fans don't want a Game 7, but we're here.
Yeah.
This series deserves a Game 7. It's been such a great back and forth. I was texting you, though, and I was like, outside of Game 5, every game has been clearly won by both sides. You would think to get to a Game 7 that there would be these back and forth close games. One team is either going to blow the other team out, and now we're here. The Blue Jays lead in terms of the run differential in the series by about 7 or 8 runs, and yet we're still here. Game 7. Can't wait.
Let me see exactly what you said. You said every game in this series sucked somehow.
Not sucked. I'm just saying it wasn't.
I just read it verbatim. I read.
Maybe
exactly
my language is a
what you
little bit
texted
different over text, but it didn't suck. Obviously, every game is awesome. But what I mean by that is not every game is a 4-3 finish.
Sure.
A 5-4 battle to the end. It's either 13-4. Go over the scores, though.
Yeah, I mean, the scores are a little lopsided, but I hit you back with, I like this one, exclamation point. And you said, I just mean close games. Here's the deal. There are different ways to get to Game 7. You could have a 1-run win for both sides, 3 apiece, or you could have 3 handled wins by Seattle and 3 handled wins by Toronto. This one was the fun one. Like, for me, this wasn't the 13-4 game where the last 3 innings just don't really matter. Like, every single out mattered in this game. Jeff Hoffman got 6 outs to finish the contest, which was awesome. And like, that was enough drama for me. And the Vladdy wild pitch into throwing air on Cal Raleigh, that was enough drama for me because it still felt like it was a game. And we know how the Blue Jay bullpen has operated over the course of the postseason. Like, this thing was never put away. So I liked this game. And this has been a great series in an unorthodox way. You typically think great games within a series. This has just been, okay, one team is coming out throwing every single one of their best punches. And then the next day, okay, the other team's coming out throwing every single one of their best punches.
Yeah, it's almost like these two teams, they need a loss to get their shit together. It is interesting because, you know, the Mariners win the first 2 in Toronto, and then Toronto packs a punch back. They lean into the momentum, win the next game, and then the Mariners have a historic Gino Suarez home run grand slam to send it back to Toronto. And then what does Toronto do? They got kicked in the mouth. They kick right back with this win. Break it down for us.
All right. So it was 6-2 Toronto. There were a pair of errors that set up the first scoring opportunity for Toronto in the second. That was when Addison Barger singled, and then IKF chopped a ball off the bare hand of Eugenio Suarez at third to make it 2-0 Blue Jays in the second. Addison Barger then smashed a ball to right center for a 2-run shot to double the advantage. And Vladdy's 6th homer of the postseason into the Blue Jay bullpen chased Logan Gilbert from the game in the 5th with nobody gone. So 4+ innings in 5-run baseball for Logan Gilbert. Josh Naylor blasted a solo shot in the 6th, and Gino looped a little squeaker down the right field line that somehow jutted off the sidewall and plated Randy Arozarena from first base. So that was an RBI double. That was after Yesavage was chased from the game. So that run did go against Trey Yesavage. But Toronto added insurance on a wild pitch and a throwing error on Cal Raleigh in the 7th inning. But Yesavage was the story for me, rolling 3 straight inning-ending double plays in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'll give you the starting pitching lines real quick. Trey Yesavage, 5 2/3, 2 runs, punched out 7, walked 3, did allow the Naylor homer. Logan Gilbert, 4 innings of 5-run, 4 earned run baseball. He surrendered 2 homers to Guerrero and Barger, and then Jeff Hoffman fired 2 no-hit innings with 4 punch-outs to tie a bow on this thing after Louis Varland got 4 outs and didn't allow a run. This was a feel-good Blue Jay win, and they rode their rookie. They rode one of the hottest hands in baseball from a pitching perspective to a victory tonight.
Yeah, and I thought it was, extra because you say riding a super hot hand. This guy gave up 5 earned runs to the Mariners.
Yeah, so it was kind of a recalibrated hot hand.
That's why I was just so impressed with the poise that this guy had on the mound. You're facing Cal Raleigh with the bases loaded, and you throw first pitch splitter and get him to ground into a double play. Going into that game, Sarah Langs pointed it out. He had not induced a ground ball double play in his first 3 starts in the regular season. Of course, it's the regular season, and he's only made 3 starts, so there's not a ton of data to go off of. But to roll 3 inning-ending double plays just smashed the Mariners into the ground. Like, you could just feel the wind getting taken out of the Mariners' bats, and he just rolled from there. You could tell he was relying more heavily on the splitter this time, and his splitter was getting outs at every turn, whether it was ground balls or whether it was weak pop outs or whether he was just striking everybody out in the first couple of innings. Like, the Blue Jays, even beyond the playoffs, beyond all of this, moving forward, you have a guy in Trey Savage who clearly loves these moments. Like, we've all, as baseball fans, even not fans of the Blue Jays or the Mariners, fans of all teams, we know players on our team are built for the big moments and some aren't. Trey Savage is built for this shit. And to put up a performance like that, elimination game, this guy started the year in A-ball, worked his way up. There are so many impressive performances from this game, and I really want to talk about Vladdy, but I have nothing but praise to shower all over Trey Savage. Like, that was gritty. Because against the Yankees, I felt like he had everything on. I didn't feel like he had everything on in this game. But that's what separates some of these guys. When you don't have everything working perfectly and you still get big outs in big spots. Mariners are putting up good at-bats against him. He didn't have it, or at least not to his full capabilities. But he didn't need it all tonight. He bared down. What a performance by the kid.
So this is, I think, the second back against the wall start that Savage has made that has been televised. The other was at East Carolina against Wake Forest in the Greenville Regional. And I have the line here from June 1st, 2024. Trey Savage in that game went 7 1/3, 1-hit, 1-run baseball with 6 punch outs. So this guy clearly is okay pitching with some serious pressure.
Yeah, it's almost like the Alek Manoah quote, except we're not really, what is it? Pressure is the only thing I put in my tires, or what did he say?
Manoah said that?
Yeah, Manoah. Remember the pressure?
No, I don't remember that at all.
I got to find the Alek Manoah quote.
Alek Manoah, who's now an Atlanta Brave, I think.
Alek Manoah pressure quote.
Alek Manoah,
pressure is something you put in your tires.
For the Atlanta Braves.
So Alek Manoah's famous quote is, "Pressure is something you put in your tires." His first used this line to dismiss the pressure of a playoff start in October 2022, attributing the idea to his high school coach. Became well known because it didn't exactly go well.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, listen, Manoah kind of walked so Savage could fly here in this situation in the ALCS. What a job from Trey Savage. No rookie should be able to make that many big pitches over the course of a single game, should be able to execute that many humongous pitches. And the fact that you mentioned the Sarah Langs point, the fact that he hadn't done that before and then rolls 3 straight inning-ending double plays. By the way, tip of the cap to Jimenez. That guy might not be able to hit except for, 2 swings in this ALCS. I know he's totally bucking that whole trend about him, but he may struggle offensively. This guy's one of the best defenders in Major League Baseball,
Yeah.
and he kickstarted a couple of those double plays, and it was poetry in motion. So credit to you, Savage. Credit to the Blue Jay defense. I'll give you a Mariner thought real quick.
Can we keep talking about the Blue Jays, though? We got to talk about Vladdy.
Of course.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't want to just skip past the Blue Jays. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This comes to us from our incredible Twitter team. The only players in MLB history with a 10-game span in a single postseason of at least a 400 batting average and 6+ home runs. 2004 Carlos Beltran and 2025 Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This guy is a different level of locked in. When he hit that home run, I tweeted out, worth every penny. Like, we all remember the saga throughout the season with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. about whether or not the Blue Jays were going to end up forking over the money that he now clearly deserves. Like, I can't imagine what an offseason would look like after he put up this type of performance if this guy still wasn't paid. Not only is he hitting 450 in the playoffs, and it seems like everything off his bat is going for extra bases or a home run, or even when he breaks his bat into two, he hits the ball twice and still gets a single. Can you imagine if he wasn't paid yet, but the Blue Jays fans know this guy is ours for the next 14 years. He's paid handsomely. This is where he belongs. He's our guy at just 26 years old. That's got to feel so good.
It's really cool. I spent the whole game listening. So my MLB TV is great because it's blackout free. Like, I don't have to get kind of stiff armed by the Fox telecast. I can actually watch the Fox telecast on my MLB TV, which is nice.
Fancy radio guy.
I can do the radio overlay. So a friend of mine, Ben Schulman, who does an amazing job as the radio voice of the Toronto Blue Jays, he made the point about Savage. He said Savage at this point could be the second most popular Blue Jay at this very moment. He said, I look around and I see a lot more Savage jerseys than I did even 2 weeks ago. He said, the guy that hit a home run an inning ago is probably number one, and there's no contest about that. Yes, they have their face of the franchise. They have their future Hall of Fame bat locked up for the next decade and a half, and that has to be the best feeling in the world for a fan base, knowing that guy's going absolutely nowhere. When the Yankees brought back Judge, that had to like lower your shoulders to the point where you said, you know what, like, our Hall of Famer, our face of the franchise is just here. Moving forward, he's a Yankee. That's who he is. The Padres with Fernando Tatis Jr., Kansas City with Bobby Witt Jr. There are very few fan bases around Major League Baseball that can say, that's our guy, he's not going anywhere. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is that to the Blue Jays. And that Blue Jay fan base is so lucky to have that sense of security. I know if everything else goes to shit, Vladdy's got me. Vladdy's on this team. When he's 30, when he's 35, hell, when he's 25 right now, 26, like, that is just such a calming feeling that I'm sure everybody is fired up about north of the border.
And now they can build around a core of Trey Savage, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Ernie Clement.
Yes. Yeah.
They're
both hitting 450.
Did you see my tweet? That 3-0 pitch from Matt Brash that ended up walking Ernie Clement. I was like, 3-0 sliders to Ernie Clement? That's major respect for the Earn Dog. Can't forget, this guy was DFA'd by the A's. Someone commented that, and I said, yeah, the A's didn't realize they had a right-handed Tony Gwynn. It's so funny. Whenever he takes a first pitch fastball, both guys in the booth, John Smoltz especially, is like, whoa. He didn't get a base hit on that because it's been so automatic for Ernie Clement as well. Also good to see Dalton Varsho have a good day. He has not had a good series, right? He's right in the middle of that lineup, had a piss missile in his first at-bat. Now we can talk about kind of the Mariners, but on the Blue Jays side, like, it was just...
Couple more. Yeah,
a couple more. Go ahead.
Couple more points on the Blue Jays side. George Springer is clearly very hurt. That was hard to watch him swing.
Yes, because he got hit on the knee, and you hate to see that for a guy like that, who he's no spring chicken. right? Getting hit on the kneecap by a 96-mile-an-hour fastball would disable anybody. But it's probably hard to bounce back. Now, I'm 27 years old, so I can't imagine. I know if it hit me, I would disintegrate into a million pieces. I can't imagine being 35 years old.
Yep.
And then you got to come back, and it's clear he was wearing this tape and these bands and the wrap, and he's got heat, and he's got a bunch of different things. But you
And
could
he's
almost
still
kind
just
of
wincing every single time he swings.
And didn't you feel that as the game progressed, it got worse for him?
Yes.
Like it almost felt like the wraps, or I assume he was taking some sort of pain medication or something to try and subside a fastball off the kneecap. And especially in that last AB, I just feel bad for the guy. It's like you could just tell this guy probably would be on the IL if it weren't for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I love how he told John Schneider when asked if he was going to be in the lineup, he just told him to shut up. Like, I'm in. I'm in the lineup. And I love that. He's a grinder. He's a postseason performer. He's the man. It's just you could tell he's playing on one leg right now.
He's one of the greatest postseason performers that we have in this generation of baseball. Like, he is a top of the line postseason performer. And if he's not in the lineup, that is a detriment to Toronto. Hell, like, we know all about postseason performances with a guy practically on one leg. He's in the lineup in Game 7. There's no doubt in my mind he made it through. He's in the lineup in Game 7. We'll see how the World Series, but yeah.
And he's leading off. Yeah,
absolutely.
He's in the lineup. Absolutely. He ain't missing this.
The other thing for me on the Blue Jays side, if Jeff Hoffman found it, that's gargantuan if their season keeps on rolling. He threw almost 30 pitches today. Obviously, it's Game 7, so really, like, you're going to have to throw Hoffman for 20 more pitches.
So much adrenaline. Like, I don't think he's going to be feeling those 32 pitches because he hasn't thrown
35.
a lot of 35. Yeah. He hasn't thrown a lot in the series anyway.
So but it is 35, and you're working back-to-back on the heels of a 35-pitch night.
It's not ideal, but with how good his stuff looked, like that, sometimes a team like this, they just find a guy like that, right? It seems like the Dodgers just found Roki Sasaki. All you need is a couple good outings in a row. So if Jeff Hoffman can roll this back over in tomorrow, if they have a lead, the Blue Jays going into this game, did you feel confident in any of them?
Because I mean, and clearly John Schneider only feels confident in Varland.
Yeah, and when he brought in Brendan Little, I think that was a bad decision at the time. Like, you wish they probably brought in Jeff Hoffman, but at the same time, maybe the result wouldn't have been different because there hasn't been a lot of guys that you can trust in this bullpen. Sir Anthony Dominguez, their 8th inning guy. He was the one who gave up that grand slam to Gino Suarez in Game 5.
Yeah.
You know, Mason Fluharty and Louis Varland, but Varland has gotten hit in this series too, so you don't really know, and especially when all these bats have seen these relievers time after time after time. And that's why I thought the Mariners would win today, because I thought if it was a battle of the bullpens, talent would win out if you've seen them all before, right? And the Mariners bullpen did a pretty damn good job. It was just Logan Gilbert getting crushed again by the Blue Jays. They clearly just see him well because there was no excuse going into this one. In his first start, 6-inning, big-time performance. Then you throw 34 pitches in relief. Then it's 3 days rest. So you go 3 innings, you give up a couple of runs. We'll give him a pass there, especially because it's Logan Gilbert, right? Yeah. And I was pretty bullish on him going into this game. 5 full days of rest. Last time he pitched was October 13th, so it's not even every 5th day. He got 5 days of rest in between these starts. And he came out, and the Blue Jays just jumped on him. So impressive because Logan Gilbert ate chopped liver. This is Logan Gilbert.
He's a borderline top 10 pitcher in Major League Baseball. And they are making him look like chopped liver. This is a soft pivot to the Mariners side, which I appreciate. But yeah, just tying a bow on the Hoffman thing. You mentioned it feels like the Dodgers just found Sasaki and the Blue Jays just found Hoffman right now. Hoffman was a $30 million free agent signing. Sasaki was the best international free agent that we've probably ever seen. In terms of notoriety and popularity, like, he probably usurped Ohtani. So they didn't find him, but I understand what you're saying. Like, the reliance on them was next to zero during the regular season and even at the end of the regular season. And then, you know, you run into this situation where Sasaki throws in relief and it's like, oh, damn, there might be something here, huh? And you found that out during the wild card, and then he really pushed it in the DS, and now here you have it in the CS again. With Hoffman, John Schneider was going to have to fall on that sword regardless.
Mhm.
You're going to have to go to Jeff Hoffman at some point.
You paid him.
You paid him. He's an all-star closer in previous years, and this is your opportunity to see him really step up. And man, did he step up. Again, if he found his groove, that is gargantuan if they continue to move forward and if they do go see the Dodgers in the World Series. But pivoting to the Mariners, they need to slam the reset button going into tomorrow. And really, they fall behind the 8 ball so quickly. This is from our Twitter team as well in terms of Mariner pitching here. This series, Seattle Mariners starters, 28 and a third innings at a 6.04 ERA. And the strikeout artists have punched out only 17 in 28 and a third. 6 games at a 6 ERA, north of 6. That's unacceptable from the best rotation in baseball. And I saw Mariner Muse, who does a great job on Twitter, quote tweet that and say, our strength is our weakness. It's like, that's a bar. I love that. You live by the 3, you die by the 3. If you are a run and gun basketball team, if you're the Seattle Mariners, you live by Gilbert, Castillo, Kirby, Miller, Wu. You die by Gilbert, Castillo, Kirby, Miller, Wu.
This is why I love the playoffs, because going into this series, if I told you Bryce Miller is the only guy who's going to be able to get out the Blue Jays, everyone would have said I was crazy.
Is he the only one that recorded an out in the 5th inning? I think he is.
That would make sense because Luis Castillo got crushed.
It was 2 1/3. Kirby was, 4 innings of 8-run ball?
8 earned. George Kirby, 8 earned. Logan Gilbert, 3 innings, scattered 3 runs, and only 2 of them were earned. And then in this start, he looked worse with more rest.
Yeah.
But all credit to the Blue Jays in this one. They put their foot on the gas pedal. They really put their cleats on Seattle's throats early. But it did feel like there was such a lack of urgency from Seattle. Like even defensively early, right? Even that Gino Suarez play where it hits off, like that was such a slow reaction time. Randy Rosarina in left field. Like when the ball bounces off and he like can't find it and jogs over to the baseball. Very uncharacteristic throwing error from Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
Like it, and I talked about it going into the series. The Mariners defense is an issue. They ranked 26th in fielding run value this year. There was only a few teams in baseball, bottom feeder MLB teams, that were as worse defensively as them. And it really showed up in this game. But you didn't feel that there was just a sense of like almost sleepiness?
Yeah,
or like
no, I
a
certainly did.
casualness to it that it's hard to explain, but you could just see it in some of the players' body language where they went into this game being like, well, if we win, great, but we're automatically going to game 7 anyway. Like it felt like a hangover from one of the best moments in Mariners history, which I hated. That's the time where you go in, we're playing with nothing to lose. Like we got to win this game. And it was just,
They were playing like they had a mulligan to work with.
Yep.
And I don't love that.
Good luck with that. It's game 7 now in Toronto when your pitcher gave up 8 earned.
Right. It's like when you hit the under 8 timeout and you're up by 10 points in a college basketball game. It's like, okay, you better not play not to lose. You better play to go up by 20 and not keep this at 10. It felt like Seattle was trying to keep Toronto at, 3-2. Like things were going to change tonight, and it's on Seattle to run through the tape. And it didn't seem like they were trying to run through the tape. It just kind of felt like they were saying, oh, if we don't get it, we've got, game 7. We're living to see another day regardless. Instead of playing like you have a mulligan, you have to go kick ass. And they just didn't go kick ass. I don't envy the position that Dan Wilson found himself in. Dan Wilson was looking at Logan Gilbert, who had to deal with some foot traffic. I don't put much of the blame for that second inning on Logan Gilbert. Like, okay, Barger got a single, but like a run came in on a little bouncing ball that Gino couldn't handle on the bare hand, and Gino had already committed an error. By the way, quick aside, Eugenio Suarez is very lucky he has that one swing. He has been incredibly disappointing all October long, except for that one swing. That's going to buy him a hell of a lot of narrative going into the offseason.
And of course, he makes that one diving play, bases loaded with Vladdy up. And it's like, you make that play?
Right.
I mean, great play.
Just make another. Just
Great
make a different
play.
one.
But how are we not making the routine plays,
I know.
Gino?
But where was Dan Wilson? I don't envy the position that Dan Wilson was in because he has to look at it like, okay, if we don't win today, we're down by 4. We have to win tomorrow.
Yeah.
So how can I make sure that our guys are ready to go tomorrow? That probably lengthened Gilbert's leash, and that's not a good thing, but I understand. I mean, we mentioned that Bryce Miller is the only guy to record an out in the 5th inning among the Mariners starters. He threw game 1. So you've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here where you're looking at your starting pitchers saying, I got to yank him. I got to go to Bizzardo for 2.5 or 2 1/3, 2 2/3 innings. I got to go to Spire. I got to go to Brash. I got to go to Munoz. All of these guys. Dan Wilson probably looked at that and said, I can't do that tonight because we have tomorrow. And that's a tough position to be in as a manager.
I don't envy it at all because, we could say, oh, we should have done this. He should have done this. You're in such
but then you're shit out of luck for game 7.
Yeah. And the fact is they went to those high leverage guys again instead of going to the Caleb Fergusons of the world, the Emerson Hancocks of the world. Right, they went to Bizzardo for 2 innings. Now he's probably he is 1,000% going to throw in game 7, unless George Kirby gives them a generational 9-inning effort, 8-inning effort, hands it off to Munoz. They threw Brash. So in the playoffs, when these bats, and especially you get the Blue Jays hot, they've seen these arms over and over and over again. But again, should he have gone to those guys? Well, it wasn't so out of reach.
Yeah.
Especially when the Mariners put up 2 more runs. It was a 3-run game. What, are you just going to throw in your lesser bullpen arms then? You could have still figured out a way to win that game. Like if I'm the Mariners and I'm Dan Wilson, you have to think we've made comebacks against this exact bullpen. It's going to be the same arms coming in again. If I throw mine and we don't allow a run, we can come back and win this. Now, of course, they didn't. Jeff Hoffman, which was huge, those 2 innings with 4 strikeouts, shutting the door. But I totally understand where manager Dan Wilson was coming from by throwing those high leverage arms. But unfortunately, now it puts the Mariners in a situation where it's another time around where they've seen your arms over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I'm writing down all of these names because I actually want to play bingo.
Okay.
Not bingo. That's not the right way to describe this game. I've got a list of all the names that I feel like are going to come into the contest.
Should we do a word search?
No. I'm going to ask you yes or no. These guys pitch game 7, and I'm going to keep it tally.
Okay.
And whoever has the most correct answers wins.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So let's start on Toronto's side.
Okay.
Bieber gets the ball. He'll start. So I'm putting both of our initials next to that.
Okay.
Louis Farland, does he throw? Yes or no?
1,000% yes.
Yeah. So I said yes as well. Brendan Little, does he throw?
No.
Okay. I go no as well. Sir Anthony Dominguez, yes or no?
Yes.
I say yes as well. Jeff Hoffman, yes or no?
1,000% yes.
Okay. So I say yes as well. Fluharty, yes or no?
No.
No?
Yes. Yes. I'm going
Yes?
Fluharty, yes.
Okay. I say no. And here's the interesting one. I say yes to Scherzer.
I say no. I don't think we see
no to
Scherzer.
Scherzer.
I think it's more likely Gausman did pitch more recently, but Scherzer's 41 coming out of the bullpen. You know what? I'm saying yes because that would be awesome. I want that to happen. I will lose this game so I could potentially see that. Yes.
But we're both yes. So the only thing that we differ on is I say no Fluharty, you say yes Fluharty.
I think they're going to bring in a lefty to face a Jorge Polanco or a Josh Naylor because, I mean, look how well Josh Naylor is hitting the baseball. They would need to bring in a lefty in that situation. And I don't know if Brendan Little is the guy. I mean, we saw him give up that home run to Cal Raleigh. He didn't end the season well at all. I think in his month of September, he pitched to an ERA at 6. I think he kind of lost the job here in a high leverage situation. If they make it to the World Series, would we see him potentially in the World Series? Yes, I think so. But in a winner take all game, I don't think so.
Okay. Let's go to Seattle side. Kirby, yes, obviously. Bizzardo, yes or no?
1,000% yes.
Okay, I say no.
Really?
Yeah,
You think he goes 8 innings, hands it off to Munoz?
I mean Bizzardo. No, because I have an alternate plan here. Bizzardo threw 15 pitches, 14 for strikes. Holy hell!
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to pivot to yes.
He
I
was
think yes.
diabolical.
Spire, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yeah.
say yes too. Situational lefty, brash.
Yes.
I say yes.
Okay.
Okay, Munoz,
Yeah.
1,000% yes.
He might throw 3 innings.
Luis Castillo,
No.
I say yes.
I don't think they're going to. I mean, the way they throw Luis Castillo is if George Kirby gets crushed, which means that, like,
I don't
it's
know if
probably
that's
over.
crushed because think about game 7. Like Kirby can't surrender 8 again. If Kirby surrenders 3 in the second inning, he's out. If Kirby
Yeah,
surrenders 2 in the second inning, he might be out.
I think they would probably then.
The
Munoz
leash is unbelievably short for these people.
But it's like, do you feel good about Luis Castillo coming into relief against the team that already beat him?
Sure, I probably feel a little bit better about Castillo than, maybe some other guys that you would go to. Like, I can't see Vargas throw again. I can't.
I could see him throwing again.
Oh.
I could, maybe not. Yeah, I guess we'd see Castillo. I wouldn't if we see Castillo in the game, I feel like the Mariners lose. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I feel like if we see Scherzer in the game, Toronto's losing as well.
He's such a psycho, though. I feel like he could be the 8th inning guy.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. No,
It's like, okay, here's Mad
I
Max.
think, yeah, I think if you're a Blue Jays fan, you don't want to see Max Scherzer. If you are a Mariners fan, you don't want to see Luis Castillo because that means your starter did not go very long. Ask yourself why that starter wasn't able to eat innings, probably got hit up. So I'm going to bet that we don't see either of them.
Okay.
We don't see Scherzer and we don't see Castillo.
Okay.
Mark me
I'll
down
come
for a
back
no.
with our report. I've got yes to both.
Mark me down for a no for both of those starters.
No for both. So you want me to take the P off of Scherzer?
Yes. Take the P off.
Okay. All right. But you've got yes to Fluharty.
Yes.
Okay. Word. Key to a game 7 victory is what for the Seattle Mariners?
George Kirby. Because I think they'll do pretty well against Bieber, and I think they'll do pretty well against the bullpen. I don't think that this is going to be some crazy offensive performance by the Mariners. I just don't. I think they win this game by their pitching showing up. That's the key. George Kirby has to be George Kirby. He has to be the guy. If I remember that start against Houston where I fell in love with this guy, pounding the strike zone, which is tough against Toronto because they pound strikes, but sometimes Kirby can be so pinpoint that the Blue Jays swing first pitch at a perfectly located inside sinker. But is his finger okay? Because he was bleeding, or I saw he was wiping on his pants, and it was clearly affecting his location. Right, George Kirby, even on his worst days, it just means the ball is going to be in the middle of the strike zone. He's not throwing balls no matter what. It's just,
but that's an issue. Yeah.
Can he command the strike zone? If he can get out any lineup anywhere.
Yeah.
But can he? So that's the key to the game. I think all the focus is on Kirby. How do you respond after getting your shit rocked 8 earned runs against this same offense? Yep. What do you do this time around? And his finger is going to be something we're watching early.
Okay, so I counter you. Kirby's important. I think Seattle wins this game if their top third of the lineup shows up. Their top third of the lineup today, Julio, Raleigh, Polanco, 0 for 11. Cal Raleigh 0 for 4 with 3 punch-outs. That cannot happen again. They're not going to survive by J.P. Crawford and Gino stepping up for them. They're not going to survive with Naylor and Randy Arozarena. And I understand those guys can get hot. But Julio, Raleigh, Polanco, they all need to have their fingerprints on Game 7. That's how they win.
They have to shore up this defense. Make some damn plays. Make the routine plays. Gino, you got to be a vacuum at third. Randy, can we get some damn urgency out of you? playoff Randy. I need you to bottle up that energy, find it, and figure it out. Julio, I'll give him a pass. That one, the Dalton Varsho hit the center, skipped off the turf, hit him in the glove, whatever. Yeah. He's a phenomenal defender. It's a one-off mistake. But Gino has not been a good defender, and neither is Randy. Like, you guys have to shore up your positions. You got to play because the Blue Jays are going to put the ball in play. That's how they beat you, right? It's these infield hits. Are you able to stop that? Are you able to get to the Ernie Clement infield hit and make it an out? Are you able to get to the ball in the gap instead of it landing right in the middle? That's why I picked the Blue Jays at the beginning of this series to win it, because I thought they would neutralize the Mariners' starting pitching staff, make enough contact, and then the Mariners' defense, combined with their swing and miss at the plate, would leave Mariners fans going home without an American League pennant. But then I switched. I was like, wait a minute. The Mariners are the better roster. They're just the better team from top to bottom. So I took them on a series price, but I also took Dodgers beat Blue Jays exacta. So I'm on both. I literally have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen because it's. I see the path for the Mariners.
Yeah.
I see the path for the Blue Jays. The Mariners' advantages, both in the rotation and in the bullpen, decrease by the day the more these Blue Jays see your arms. And they've already proven they can hit Kirby. But then the Blue Jays, sometimes coming off a win, they can sometimes lay down a little bit. They don't bring that same fire. It was clear after that loss, they brought this fire straight out of the gate. Yeah. And that's what makes the Blue Jays just unstoppable, because they put runs up on you so fast. You don't have time to react. And all of a sudden, it's 4-0. And you're like, whoa. And then they play to the energy. They play to the crowd. They're so hard to beat. They did it all series against the Yankees, just pure domination. They jumped on them before they could even blink.
Yeah.
But the Mariners have the ability to have a couple of big swings, get the momentum back on their side, and shut it down with their pitching. Really, any of those two options could happen.
So building off that, the Blue Jays win Game 7 if blank happens.
The Blue Jays win Game 7 if they are able to jump on Kirby. That's why I think George Kirby is so massive. Because if George Kirby silences the Blue Jays offense early and they aren't able to build on that momentum, game's over. Those are the games the Blue Jays put up 2 runs and give up 4 or 5 and it's not close. Yep. Or Blue Jays jump on Kirby early, they get the crowd into it, and the Mariners are just flat on their heels, because both of these two teams, they haven't been to this point. There's no experience like the Dodgers have. The Blue Jays, this is their first Game 7 since 1985. The Mariners have never been in this spot. It's 2 managers who have never been in this spot. How are they going to react? Who's going to step up in the first Game 7? In like a long time. Mariners have never been to the World Series. Last time the Blue Jays were in the World Series was 1993.
Yeah.
This is unprecedented times for both squads.
Yep.
And everybody on the team outside of George Springer. And I guess maybe Josh Naylor or Randy. He was with the Rays.
But Randy, I don't think Randy was with the Rays actually, yeah, he was.
Yeah, he definitely was. So those guys have been there, but there's like 1 or 2 on each team. I can't wait. We're going to see who wants it more. No, that's stupid. They all want it more. But we're going to see, I think, who's the better team in this game. That's why Game 7s are the best, because you see who shows up in the big moments.
I got thrown off because Randy won Rookie of the Year in 21. So I was like, oh, yeah. But he had this weird like rookie eligibility thing where he had a cup of coffee with St. Louis in 19, and then he only played like 20 games with Tampa in 2020. It was just bizarre. But
should we do the next segment on Cardinals outfielders they let go?
Yeah, we can. Toronto wins Game 7 if we're sitting here talking about Alejandro Kirk. That's my take for you. Game 162, Toronto took the AL East away from the New York Yankees. What did Kirk do in Game 162? Do you remember what he did on that final day of the regular season to secure that AL East title for Toronto?
How am I forgetting? It's late
Double,
at night.
2 homers, 6 driven in.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about a specific moment, but I remember him having a great game. But yeah, I see what you mean, because who else outside of Vladdy is going to step
They're
up?
not pitching to Vladdy. If they throw a strike to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. tomorrow, I mean, Seattle Sports Talk Radio should be up in arms the next morning.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
They should not throw a single strike to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Why did they throw him a strike today?
I don't know. Springer is compromised. Varsho and Kirk are the two that jump out to me here. And Barger, Clement, they've been amazing. But Varsho and Kirk are those guys that can send a shiver through your spine if you are a Seattle Mariners fan. And Kirk in particular, there's just something about when he hits a homer, that place is just erupting. And he does it. He has this flair for the dramatic and this feel for the big moment and executing in that big moment. So I think we're sitting here talking about Alejandro Kirk if Seattle win or if Toronto wins. And we're sitting here talking about how Polanco, J-Rod, and Raleigh stepped up if Seattle wins.
Interesting.
And you feel like we're talking about Kirby regardless.
I think we're talking about Kirby regardless. And it's so funny. It's because with Bieber, even if he gives up a couple of runs, the Blue Jays can still win. Like if he gets crushed, he gets crushed. But I don't feel
Bieber's not getting crushed.
I don't think he's getting crushed, and I also don't think he's going to dominate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where I think I already know that Bieber's going to give up a few runs and throw 5 innings.
You're thinking 5 innings of 3-run ball or 4
runs. Yeah, around there. Like I think he's going to be pretty good kind of no matter what, which means when we talk about the playoffs, it's going to be the complete opposite of that. Yeah. So expect a 5-inning shutout or he's going to get shelled. But Kirby has the ability to dominate, to
or get
straight
dominated.
Up no hit them through 5, like that level, or give up 8 earned.
Yeah.
I think he's the X factor.
Cool.
He's the guy staring straight at you, Kirby. What are you going to do?
That's what we got.
Well, we got to pick a winner. What, are we going to leave the podcast without picking a winner like a bunch of sissies?
Fair. Who you got?
Can you go first?
Yeah.
I was kidding. I'll go first.
You go.
I've gone back and forth a million times. I have no real financial stake now. I'm set up on both sides, so there's no betting involved here. There's no rooting interest involved here. I'm going to stick with history. And what I mean by that is, ever since Major League Baseball adopted the 2-3-2 format, I've talked about this before, the team who loses the first 2 games at home has only moved on 3 times out of a possible 27. It's the 85 Royals, the 86 Mets, and the 96 Yankees. Only 3. So I'm going to pick the Mariners because that's the only thing I can stand on. I can't stand on a great or bad Kirby performance. I can't stand on whether the Blue Jays are going to carry over that momentum. I can't stand on the Mariners defense figuring it out and the top third of their lineup coming to play in this one. I can't stand on any of the matchups because anything can happen. The only thing I feel confident about is the Blue Jays would be making relative MLB history to win this series after losing the first 2 games at home. It's the only thing I feel good about. And I really don't, but it makes sense. So I'm sticking with it.
Counter, your trends are stupid as shit. Give me the Jays at home.
Hell
Kurt,
yeah.
Nuke, Bieber shoves. Max Scherzer throws a scoreless inning out of the pen. Give me Toronto. Yeah. I'm going to go 5. I'm going to go 5-3 Toronto tomorrow.
I'm going to go 4-2 Mariners.
Okay. Low scoring, tight game. You're thinking tight game.
We need one.
I'm going to go 8-1 Blue Jays.
Yeah. I'm going to go 14-3 Mariners. Like probably what it's going to be with this series. It's going to be just another team blowing each other out. Oh, I can't wait. 2 best words in sports, Game 7. We needed it. We haven't gotten like anything like this. I guess we got Brewers Cubs Game 5 and Mariners Tigers, But game
No,
7 is
the
different.
difference between game 5 and game 7
Yeah.
is massive.
Game 7, it all comes down to this. Oh, this is perfect. I'm so happy. I hope all Blue Jays fans and Mariners listening, like, you got to be so hyped. But at the end of the day, Blue Jays fans, I don't think you expected to be here. And you are the underdog story. Started the season with a 76.5 win total. I don't want that to be forgotten. The Blue Jays are the underdog story. They've just had such an unbelievable season that they can't be now coined an underdog. But going into the season, there were plenty of doubts. There was the Vladdy contract saga. We remember this. And they figured it all out without Bo Bichette. So impressive that they're even here in a game 7 at home with the guy you traded for, Shane Bieber. Your team made the move to go get an ace. Go be an ace. And on the Mariners side, you've never been to this point. It's the best team that you've had in a very, very long time. And you could make a very sound argument. It's the best team you've ever had, even though back in 2001, you guys set the major league record for wins in a regular season.
That was the best team they've ever had. But I understand what you're saying.
This team is farther. So what could you say? Like, yes, they were better in the regular season. The Brewers won 97 games, then got their shit rocked by the Dodgers. It's how can you not argue that this is their best team? And you have your guy, George Kirby, on the mound. Everybody is there healthy for you. There's no excuses. Go win it. Or Blue Jays, go win it yourselves. Game 7. Can't wait.
Amazing.
So that'll do it for this episode of the Just Baseball Show. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. Of course, we'll be live after Game 7 to break it all down. And it looks like we'll have to wait a day for our World Series preview. Best time to wait a day. And if you did enjoy this episode, best way to support, rate and review on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. And if you would be so kind as to leave a written review. And if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you all for joining us late night. Of course, don't forget, we will be back live tomorrow. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you could like the video before we go, really, really helps us. Hopefully we helped entertain you for a while. If you could help us by just hitting that like button. And of course, after the stream is done, maybe commenting some of your favorite things or least favorite things that we said. We love all feedback. Feedback is a gift. For Jack McMullen, I'm Peter Apple. We'll see you tomorrow. And with that, thank you, everybody.